Okay, Susan, this is a redo on this transmitter problem here. I believe we'll get it right this time. Um, so let's look at this problem. A small radio transmitter broadcasts in a 50-mile radius. If you drive along a straight line from a city 60 miles north of the transmitter to a second city 70 miles east of the transmitter, during how much of the drive will you pick up a signal from the transmitter? That's a good question. Now what we'll do is try to give ourselves a little visual here. Okay, here's a north and south line, and here's a east and west line. And let's just mark off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So remember, the transmitter is right here at the origin. So that means that its radius will go up this far, to the right this far. So it's going to have a range of people. Everybody inside this arc right here could hear the radio station. Everybody outside cannot. Does that make sense? Now the question says you're driving from a city 60 miles north. So we're going to have another 10 there. Remember, this was 50, okay? And then you're driving to a point 70 miles east. So there's 60 and 70. Here's 70 right here. So we have these 2 points right here. Let me just do that in a different color. Again, so we got this point right here, 60, and this point right here, 70. Now the question is, if I drew a line here, the question says, if you're driving in a line here, so here's this, I'll try to draw a line. Okay. So you're driving from this point all the way over to this point, okay? It says, during how much of the drive will you pick up a signal? So in other words, it appears as if, I'll just pick another color here. I'm hitting the reception of the radio transmitter here, and it looks like I'm leaving it right here. So it's during this period of the drive that I can get that radio station. That's the important part of the question that they're asking. Now it says how much of the drive. Okay, what they're saying is what's the distance, okay, between these 2 points. We'll call that point 1 and point 2. Okay, so the short answer is if I just knew those coordinates, I could use the distance formula. And that's all well and good. But now the question is, how can I find those coordinates? And that is a good question. So what we need to be mindful of here is that where these 2 points, point 1 and point 2 are, they lie on both the line and the circle. So that tells us something algebraically. Let's say the circle is x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, and we know that r was 50, so 50 squared. That makes sense? And also we know that the line is y is equal to mx plus b. All right, so y is equal to, what's the slope? Well, we have 2 ordered pairs. We have 0, 60, and then we have this 70, 0. So the change of the y, we want to find slope, right? The change of the y is 60, and the change of the x is 70. Of course, it's a negative slant line. So that tells us right here, 6 over 7. Okay, so this is negative 6 over 7 x plus b, and the y-intercept there is 60. Now, what we're going to do is we want to find the x values of these 2 points, and we're going to make a system of equations. So again, the point 1 and point 2 share the same x and y values. We're going to plug this in for the y over here and find the x values. So again, x squared plus my y, which is negative 6 over 7x, plus 60 squared is equal to 50 squared. Now what we need to do is we need to take that and solve that equation for x, and then come back and plug that value in here to find our y. So it looks like we're going to have two x's, so we're going to have some x here and some another x here. And now we got to go and we have to figure this out. Okay, so I copied that expression to a new page here, and now we're going to try to solve this for x. This gives us a quadratic, so that's where we're going with this. So anyway, I copied down the x squared. Now there's a shortcut for multiplying a binomial. You could use FOIL. Anyway, you'll get 36 over 49 x squared minus 720 over 7x plus 3600 is equal to 2500. Then all I did is I just moved that 2500 to the left, and I got 1100. Now, it's easier to work with equations in ways that help you numerically to compute the terms. I would just multiply both sides by 49. When I do that, I have my 49x squared. The 49 drops out here. That will be really 7 goes into 49 7 times, so it's going to give you 5040. That should just be an x right there, not an x squared. And then this is plus 49 times 1100 is that number right there. All right, so we're going to put those two guys together. I'll get 85 squared minus this term plus this is equal to the following. And again, this should be, I need to kind of rewrite that so it makes sense here, right? 85 x squared, okay, and again, this is x to the 1 power. Now, one thing we can do to make the numbers easier to work with is divide everybody by 7. If I divide everybody by 7, I get 17x squared minus 1008x plus 10780. And that's equal to 0. Now we can see this is a quadratic in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and we could use that quadratic formula. Remember, it was, I'm trying to remember, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's do that. Okay, so you notice I have minus b would be 1008 plus or minus that squared. You don't really need that minus sign there. It's going to be positive anyway. Minus 4 times the product of all of these numbers, all divided by twice a. Remember, twice a would just be 34. Now, there are 5 ways to do this on your calculator. You could put the entire expression in and then just go back and just change the signs instead of you having to put it in twice. But anyway, if you will do that, you will get 2 numbers. One number is 14, and the second number is 45.29. So those are our 2 x values. Now what we need to do is we need to go back to the previous page. Okay, so this value is 14, and this one's 45.29. Now we need to plug those values in there to find the y. So if I, for example, y is equal to negative 6 over 7, let's put the 14 in there, plus 60. Well, let's see, 7 goes into that 2, okay? So 2 times, that's 12. So y is equal to 60 minus 12, which is 48. So we know one ordered pair now is 14, comma 48. Okay, that's one of the p's. Now let's find the other one. Now we have to plug this value, 45.29, into our formula, and we plug that back out. We'll get a y value there of, trying to remember, 21.18. 21.18. So now we know this ordered pair is going to be 45.29 and 20.18. Now the question is can I use the distance formula? Of course, the answer is yes. So the distance is going to be equal to what? Well, it's the change of the x squared and the change of the y squared. So if we would subtract these two guys, the 14 and the 45.27, we subtract those, I'll write it here, 45.29 minus 14 squared plus, now let's subtract the y's. Remember, the signs don't matter on the distance formula. So keep that in mind. I rewrote that wrong, 21.18. A little excited sometimes here. 21.18. Okay, we're going to take that difference and square it. Okay, if you'll do that on the calculator, you will get 1698.38. 1698.38. And if you'll take the square root of that on the calculator, you will get, I don't know what it is. Let's see, let me do that real quick. 1698.38. 1698. Oh, let's see. 41.21. So 41.21. Now remember, it's miles. Okay, so miles. Okay, so what is it? This red part of my traveling was 41.21 miles. Okay, that is how to do that question. And I know it was a little bit involved, but application problem is supposed to be that way. Try not to get bogged down in the details. All right, if you look over here, see. All right, here are some of the answers. And this is one of these questions where the answer doesn't give you the whole story, and I gave you the rest of the story there. But here is the formula, part of the setup, and then here are the two x values, which we got right here, 14 and 45. And then here are the two ordered pairs that we got in our problem. And then the resulting distance, 41.21 miles. So that does jive with what we were talking about. Again, it's a tougher problem, but hopefully by seeing me working it out, you understand it better. I hope this helps you.